Today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in When I Dream. This is a large group game that I played for the first time recently at Geekway Mini, and as you can see I now have a copy because I really enjoyed it. The core of this game is that players are going to take turns being a dreamer or a sleeper, I can't remember what they call it, but you put on this sleep mask to cover your eyes, and then all the other players will see a word and they take turns giving you one-word clues until you're ready to shout out what you think that word is. And then you keep doing that. There are a bunch of cards that the players can go through. You keep doing that to see how many cards you can guess correctly while it's your turn as the dreamer. Now, that in itself would be a fun game, right? That would be, that's a perfectly suitable game. But this game does two really cool things that I think elevate it up in the ranks of some of the best hidden role and kind of social party games because it combines elements of both. One of the big things is that every player who is not the dreamer has a hidden role. There's the fairy. If you are a fairy, you are trying to get the dreamer to guess the word correctly. So you're giving them words that lead them hopefully closer to guessing the word correctly. If you're the boogeyman, you're trying to get them to guess incorrectly. And this is where things get interesting. One thing I really like about this game is that there's no lying. Like in a lot of these hidden role, bluffing, deduction games, you have to lie to each other, which doesn't always feel good. It can be fun, but it's not always good. This game, there's no lying. You're just kind of misleading them based on what the clues that you're giving them. But the really cool thing about the boogeyman is that if you are too outlandish compared to what the other players are saying, like if we're trying to guide you toward saying lettuce, if you're the dreamer, and I say green, someone else says vegetable, and the next person says spaceship, and every turn that person is just saying something that doesn't fit in at all. Pretty soon the dreamer's going to figure out, hey, they're the boogeyman, I'm just going to tune them out. They're not worth listening to because they're going to lead me astray. So the boogeyman has to give clues that are subtly different, that lead them slightly astray without giving away the fact that they're the boogeyman, because the dreamer and the other players around the table don't know who they are. The last one, which is also really cool, is the Sandman. The Sandman is both a fairy and a boogeyman. They're trying to get the player to have an equal number of correct and incorrect cards. So this makes it really interesting because if the fairies get off to a hot start and the dreamer gets off to a hot start and they get a bunch correct, and the Sandman is helping them, all of a sudden the Sandman has to try to go the other way and become more of a boogeyman and lead the person astray, which makes it particularly difficult for the dreamer to figure out who the Sandman is or who the boogeyman are at the table. I really like this dynamic, this shifting dynamic of giving clues, but you have a hidden agenda that gives you reasons to give different clues and not be too outlandish, not be too crazy, not out yourself as whoever, whatever your hidden role is, but to add just some interesting dynamics to the game. The last thing I want to add is that we found that it's almost to the dreamer's benefit just to shout out as many words as possible because they can guess whenever they want, and whenever they guess, the top card of the stack that players are revealing to this player, to the dreamer, is removed from the stack, and they go on to the next card and the next card and so on because they're trying to get as many cards as correct as possible. But the catch to this is, and the game, I think the game realized this, and they added a nice little catch. At the end of the round, before the dreamer takes off their mask, they have to recount their dream. They have to say, okay, I was flying in a spaceship, and I had a bunch of lettuce with me, and my cat was there, and it was covered in bacon, and whatever was in the dream. And you get bonus points if you guess all of the words that you got correctly, and if you say them as part of that dream recounting. So it's a really nice way for the game to incentivize you to not incentivize the dreamer to just say whatever they want, but to be a little more calculated about their guesses and to actually try to remember what they're guessing so they get those bonus points. Really cool mechanism. If you've played When I Dream, I'd love to hear your thoughts about your favorite mechanisms of the game in the comments. Or if you have a party game or a bluffing game that you think does something, a nice little twist like what this game does to add some variety, add some mystery to the game, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Thanks.